All right, welcome to the Browns Wire podcast. This is your host, Josh Keatley. With me is always the man, the myth, the legend, Donovan James. Donovan, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I just got back from the pool, so.
Oh, yeah? You're hanging out at the pool today?
Yeah, I figured I'd use I'm paying for it at the apartment, so I might as well use the pool at some point.
Is it like a big, nice one, or is it like a small, dinky one?
It's a big, nice one, actually, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's salt water. It's not chlorine, too. There's a chlorine shortage. There's a chlorine shortage, too, by the way.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, we were talking about shortages before the show, but there's a chlorine.
So dumb.
So a lot of people are switching to saltwater pools anyway, but I mean,
so dumb.
I don't know, man. A shortage on everything.
No shit. Our last apartment complex had a pool. Our new apartment complex does not, so I'm kind of missing out a little bit. But her parents got a pool, so
nah, that works.
Dude, but the apartment complex, the last one we were at, it was so small and so packed all the time that we went like 3 times. So at a certain point, you just get uncomfortable. So it probably wasn't worth the cash.
Yeah, especially when you're like going on the weekend, which I'm sure you guys probably did, working and everything, and you're just there's a bunch of kids there, moms, and like just floaties everywhere, and the noodles, the pool noodle things.
Oh yeah, the pool noodles.
A lot of those.
Yep. But all right, I think we got a pretty special show today. You know, I messaged Donovan yesterday. I said, dude, I got nothing. I don't know what to talk about. I have had no time at all this weekend to do anything. And Donovan said, let's recap an NFL draft class. So we kind of talked about this a couple months ago when the draft first happened because everybody's giving out their draft grades. Well, we decided let's go back 10 years. Let's go back and look at the 2011 Cleveland Browns draft and really try to figure out what did they hit, what did they not hit, what were our rankings back then. I was in the infancy of my NFL draft grades at that point. I was still in college. I was actually playing college football at the time. So I was not starting right at this point. So I had to go back into my loose notes and stuff there to figure out what I had on some of these guys. But Donovan, I mean, how active were you as far as scouting in 2011? Because you're even younger than me.
Not very active, so I just graduated high school a couple years before, so not really active. My first draft, I actually worked for NFL Draft Diamond. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Matt Barkley's draft, and I was an intern, and I was just barely starting. I did like a little side work, so that was my first draft. So that was 2013, I believe. 13, 14. So not much, but I always follow the draft. I mean, I'm like a big draft nerd. I always follow it, but I don't have any like detailed notes or anything or scouting reports. But I know that draft really well, and I followed it. Always.
That's great. That's great. So you'll definitely know more than me. Like I said, I was playing college ball at the time, so I know a lot of the bigger name guys. Will kind of get to us a couple guys that I didn't really get to see. I had to dive back into. I do have an extensive magazine collection. I like to buy every annual magazine that comes and hits the newsstand. So I'm telling you, I got NFL draft magazines from like, dude, I don't know, Ricky Williams are on the cover, bro. Like I'm talking like old stuff. So every now and again I'll flip through them, and I did that today too to try to get what was the media saying about some of these guys. So if you want, we can go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, perfect. So again, to recap, this was the Pat Shurmur, Tom Heckert regime. Overall, I'm looking at this draft. I really didn't think the Cleveland Browns did too bad of a job. Obviously, the 2011 season was really bad. I think the Browns won 4 games that year. But the first pick, the 21st pick overall, the Cleveland Browns selected Phil Taylor, defensive tackle from Baylor. I'm going to go ahead and give a brief recap of Phil Taylor's career as a Cleveland Brown, and then we can kind of talk about where he should have been drafted, what were the other options on the board, was it a good value, and did he fulfill what he was supposed to fulfill? So Phil Taylor was with the Cleveland Browns from 2011 to 2014. He was a 2011 all-rookie. He was a member of the all-rookie team immediately. You can find, if you Google Phil Taylor, rookie season, yada, 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 you'll see where people are talking about him being the best interior lineman, defensive lineman rookie of that class based on his first year. That he started 42 games for the Cleveland Browns before his release, before the 2015 season. Based off of my report from then, I gave Phil Taylor a first-round grade. I don't think, based off of what I was looking at, based on how the draft kind of fell. Like I said, it's easy to look back, Captain Hindsight, right? It's easy to have hindsight and tell you what they did wrong. But honestly, at the time, if you really look at the board, it's not that bad of a pick. There's very few tackles that were drafted after him that had a better career. One could make an argument. Muhammad Wilkerson out of Temple had a better career, 2-time All-Pro. He was taken 30th overall, just 9 picks later. You could make an argument, but again, Wilkerson played a lot of 3-4 defensive end for a lot of NFL teams. Phil Taylor was kind of the big load in the middle. So they weren't really the same type of player. 42 games. It's not a long career for the Browns, but this was a point where they were constantly in rebuild. I do think that this was a good pick. I think he fulfilled what he was supposed to fulfill. I don't think it was a bust at all. When you're dealing with regime changes and you suck, that's just kind of, even the good players kind of fall to the wayside early. So I think that Phil Taylor was a good pick. What do you think, Donovan?
Who was do you have the pick before him?
Let's look.
A chance. He was 26. He was 27, right? Or 26.
He was the 21st pick in the NFL
draft. 21st. Okay, I'm totally wrong. 21st pick.
Yes.
First round pick. Yeah. If you could look, I mean, I would like to know who was like before and after, but really, I kind of care about like.
I got it pulled up right now. Did you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, so then the 18th pick was Corey Liggett, defensive tackle out of Illinois. We all know him. He had a very, very solid career. The 19th pick was Prince Makamura, defensive back out of Nebraska. The 20th pick was Adrian Claiborne, who actually played for the Browns last year, defensive end out of Iowa. If you're looking at defensive tackles that were taken, that were off the board by the time Phil Taylor was gone, Marcel Darius, defensive tackle Alabama, was off the board. Nick Fairley, who I thought was going to be I thought he was the best player in this draft class. Nick Fairley absolutely dominated at Auburn. Again, I didn't watch college football on a consistent basis because I was playing, but every time we turn on Auburn, he was just a goddamn one-man wrecking crew. He was really the only player on that defense that was any good, and he kind of did it all by himself. But he went before Phil Taylor, and like I said, Corey Liggett went there too. So the defense right after Phil Taylor and Anthony Costanzo, obviously tackle out of Boston College, went 22. Danny Watkins, who's one of the all-time biggest NFL draft busts, guard out of Baylor, went 23. And then Cameron Jordan, defensive end out of California, went 24. The next defensive back off the board, I just said Muhammad Wilkerson went 30th. I'm trying to look. Jarvis Jenkins went 41 in the second round. Phil Taylor definitely had a better career than him. Marvin Austin out of North Carolina went 52nd overall. Again, I think that Phil Taylor had a better career than him as well. So when you're looking at it and comparing it, I try to look at what it's hard to look at what their needs were back there. But yeah, it's like okay, this is what their goal was. This is what they were trying to build. Was there a better piece to the puzzle? And I think Phil Taylor was the best piece. I really do. You can make a solid argument for Muhammad Wilkerson, but again, they played the position completely different ways.
Yeah, Phil Taylor, I remember being just a big kind of mauler type of guy, somebody that would kind of fit on the team now. I would say honestly, right? I mean, obviously they have better people than him on the team, but he would kind of. They probably would draft. They wouldn't draft him again in the first round now, but they'd probably draft him again. He'd fit their team and their scheme.
Yeah, I don't know. They might have because
Muhammad Wilkerson was a better overall player, obviously. But I mean, Phil Taylor was a good pick.
Was he?
I think he was a little bit better. Phil Taylor was good though. I mean, not good, but he was serviceable.
At 6'3", he was 6'3", 320 pounds. He filled the role. He was never going to rack up the stats. He was huge. He was an immovable object. If you look at defensive tackles that were drafted, it's hard. That's a kind of a hard position to draft, anyways. Muhammad Wilkerson probably had a more decorated NFL career, but it's hard to say that he would have had. It's hard to say that he would have had success in Cleveland too. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it was an okay pick. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. It's kind of C plus, C minus, whatever.
Interesting. I think I'm higher on it than you.
Really?
I think that Phil Taylor was a good pick. I think that if the team went through too many ups and downs, I think this is a guy that was probably more of a victim of circumstance. I know that when he left Cleveland, it's not like he lit the world on fire. He got cut by the Broncos and sat on the bench for the Redskins. So I guess there's not really a whole lot backing me, but this is a guy who did, he was a difference maker his rookie season, and then the Browns continued to suck, and then he continued to suck with the Browns. So, I think sometimes the hand that you get dealt sucks. I think that he's probably better.
True.
I think he made a bigger impact than Danny Shelton did, who's the most recent high draft pick from the interior defensive line.
Yeah, definitely made a bigger impact than Danny Shelton did. Danny Shelton didn't start that many games with the Browns. So.
Yeah, I have to pull that up. Are you ready to move on to the second round, or you have anything else to add?
No, yeah, so we can move on to the second round. So.
All right, with the second round pick, the 37th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns took Jabal Sheard, defensive end out of Pittsburgh, who, again, played with the Cleveland Browns from 2011 to 2014, was a 2011 all-rookie member, named at the same time as Phil Taylor for their efforts, started 50 games for the Cleveland Browns before.
Really? 50 games? Did he really start that many games? Wow.
He started 50 games for the Cleveland Browns.
Man, I didn't know
before he moved on with the New England Patriots and then eventually the Indianapolis Colts. And now I think he's with the Giants because he was with the Jaguars and the Giants last year. Yeah, so
I'm not sure, but
I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first on Jabal Sheard.
No, you're good. I actually didn't know he started that many games at linebacker, so that's kind of interesting to me. But I knew he was on the Browns for a while, but I didn't realize he started that many games. Again, I mean, obviously, he's better than Phil Taylor did, but still kind of, like you said, there's a lot of turmoil in the Browns organization at that time. So I don't remember. They probably had plenty of quarterbacks. Charlie Fry, was he quarterback around that era, or was it?
Oh my God, dude, that's a good Google.
Because I mean,
I don't think
it just always starts with that position, and then I mean, obviously the Browns are famous for the quarterback turnover they had. So you can have a lot of good defensive players. At the end of the day, you got to have some offense and score some points. But I mean, he wasn't bad.
Colt McCoy started 13 games that year.
Colt McCoy, okay. Well, I know you're a big Colt McCoy guy. I like Colt McCoy too.
But he wasn't, But I can be a Colt McCoy guy all I want. But like you said, it's a pretty good example. They won 4 games that year, the Jabal Sheard's rookie year, and they didn't seem to get any better. So
I thought he was pretty talented coming out of college and then playing, but he's still in the NFL. And it's hard to be in the NFL for
a decade,
10 years. Yeah, so looking at 10 years, over 10 years. So I mean, what average career is like 3.5, 2 years. So it's short. So for him to still he was athletic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So he's still playing, still backup now. But I mean, probably say that one's probably who was drafted around him.
Good question. So again, Jabal Sheard was drafted. No, I already had it pulled up. I tried to have some of the stuff pulled up. So Jabal Sheard again was drafted 37th. The 3 picks before him at 34 was Aaron Williams, defensive back out of Texas. Andy Dalton was at 35, quarterback out of TCU, and Colin Kaepernick, quarterback out of Nevada, was 36. The 3 picks after Jabal Sheard was Ryan Williams, running back from Virginia Tech to Arizona, Akeem Ayers, linebacker out of UCLA, and then Bruce Carter, linebacker out of North Carolina. If you look at some of the defensive ends drafted right before him, you're talking about Cameron Hayward to Pittsburgh at 31. You're talking about Adrian Claiborne to Tampa Bay at 20. And then you're talking about Ryan Kerrigan from Purdue to Washington at 16, Cameron Hayward from Ohio State. The defensive end drafted after Jabal Sheard, and this will kind of give you a better idea. This is kind of how I viewed the pick. The defensive ends drafted Jabal Sheard were Daquan Bowers from Clemson, who went to Tampa Bay at 51, who had an injury-riddled college career, had an injury-riddled NFL career. I think he had an injury-riddled CFL career. I without a doubt, Jabal Sheard had a better career than Daquan Bowers. Who else? I see you're scrolling for a while. Alan Bailey, defensive end out of Miami, was drafted to Kansas City at pick 86. Again, that's a guy who sat the bench his entire NFL career, basically. I'm trying to look. He had 3 career NFL starts, so obviously Jabal Sheard had a better career than him. Keep scrolling. Sam Acho, defensive end out of Texas, went to Arizona. Now, this is a guy who had 4 starts, but again, Jabal Sheard had 50 starts, and he was on the all-rookie team. I'm looking at this pick, based off of the talent in that draft class. I think they hit it out of the park. I think this was a clear-cut pick to make, too. Jabal Sheard was a freak at Pittsburgh. It was him, and if you remember that defensive line at Pittsburgh, it was him and Greg Romius on the other side. It was absolutely phenomenal. Jabal Sheard was very productive in college, and he was very productive for the Cleveland Browns. I know that we talked about his rookie year kind of being the highlight of his career, but he was very productive for those years. I don't think he got cut. I tried to look that up. I believe that he left via free agency too. So,
Okay.
like you say, still in the NFL. I think they hit it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, I mean that's a good pick. The guys drafted ahead of him, man, those are some damn good players at edge rusher.
But they were already gone. They're already gone.
They're already gone. Yeah, so you kind of have to. That's why they were gone, obviously. So he's kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
he's better than the three guys after, but he's not better than any of the three guys before him. So he was right in the middle.
Man, you can make a solid case that he was better. He makes a solid case.
Don't say
Adrian Claiborne. No, Adrian Claiborne.
Claiborne. I was like, don't say. I like Ryan Kerrigan a lot. He didn't sign with the team yet, did he? Kerrigan, by the way, like currently, did he? I could be wrong.
No, not Ryan. I don't know.
Right. Claiborne. I don't think he's better than Claiborne long term.
They play two different positions. Again, it's like comparing Phil Taylor because Adrian Claiborne played. I mean, they were moving him defensive end, defensive tackle.
The Falcons,
you know what I mean? Yeah, like they just didn't. Later on, his career, Jabal Sheard moved to outside linebacker for the Colts. You know what I mean? He was more of your pure pass rusher. Adrian Claiborne didn't really do that. So again, you're kind of comparing apples to oranges. I'm just saying, if you're talking about decorated career, he's right up there, man. He's right up there. He had a good career. He's probably not better than the guys that were taken in front of him, but he went where he was supposed to take. There was a big drop off after him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Totally.
So I give it a thumbs up. I give Phil Taylor a thumbs up, and then Jabal Sheard a thumbs up.
Okay.
What do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Phil Taylor, I gave kind of like a C, but if I have to pick one, I'll say thumbs up, and then Jabal Sheard definitely thumbs up. I gave him like a B-.
Okay, perfect. Let's move on. So the second round, the Cleveland Browns had another second round pick, 59th overall. They took Greg Little, wide receiver out of North Carolina. Now, full transparency, I have a Greg Little Cleveland Browns jersey.
I knew that story was coming.
I want to put that. I want to put that on the open. Now, with that said, do you want to go first on him, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first. What number was he picked though? He
was picked 59th overall. So the three players picked before Greg Little were Shane Vereen, running back California to the New England Patriots, Mikel LaShore, running back out of Illinois to the Detroit Lions, and Torrey Smith, wide receiver from Maryland. To the I know. Big difference there, right?
Mikel LaShore, did he play with Juice Williams? Or no?
No, that's Rashard Mendenhall, bro.
That's right. That's Rashard Mendenhall.
Rashard Mendenhall. And then the three picks after Greg Little were Brandon Harris, defensive back out of Miami, Florida to Houston, Texas, Jonas Moton, linebacker from Michigan to the San Diego Chargers, and then Daniel Thomas, running back from Kansas State to the Miami Dolphins, who was supposed to be God's gift to running backs. If you remember that, he was the fantasy darling.
A lot of running backs.
Of course.
I like Shane Vereen too.
Yeah, all those guys were great. So let's look at a couple of the wide receivers drafted in front of him. We talked about Torrey Smith taking literally the pick before him, which is it's kind of funny because there's a little bit of a difference there in quality of receiver. Let's see. Titus Young was taken by Detroit at pick 44. And then I'm keep scrolling. Jonathan Baldwin was picked 26th overall to Kansas City. Now, he probably had a better career than both of those guys, to be quite honest with you. But here, check this out. The wide receivers drafted. The next wide receiver drafted was Randall Cobb, 64th overall to the Green Bay Packers, your team. Another wide receiver was Austin Pettis, wide receiver from Boise State, taken by the Rams. And then Leonard Hankinson, wide receiver from Miami, Florida, taken to the Washington Redskins. Pettis with 78, Hankerson with 79. Now, it's easy to play hindsight here, right?
Yeah.
Let's go over Greg Little's career. Greg Little was with the Browns from 2011 to 2013. He did start 41 games for the Cleveland Browns. Now,
how many? 41?
41 games. Okay. Now, let me tell you, again, it's really easy to pick on this pick. It is, right? Because the dude dropped the ball and he's a wide receiver. But in full transparency, dude, I want to reiterate that I looked at some notebooks and yada, yada, yada. Everybody in the world had Randall Cobb higher than Greg Little by a vast and wide margin. Now, there were a couple wide receivers that were higher than Greg Little on most of the draft boards that I saw for that year, including Gerald Jenigan, who ended up going to the New York Giants from Troy. So some of those guys who had arguably the same caliber of career as Greg Little, maybe a little worse, maybe a little better, who cares? Randall Cobb's career is vastly better than Greg Little. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
Greg Little got cut. Greg Little was released. He didn't leave voluntarily. Well, let me double check that. Yeah, he was cut. The Browns did not want him back. They were ready to move on. That's how poor of a performer he was. Randall Cobb was all rookie in 2011. He was named as an NFL top 100 pick in top 100 player in 2015, and he was a Pro Bowler in 2014. Okay, so there's 3 years alone where he dominated the NFL for the Green Bay Packers. Okay, I understand why the Browns took Greg Little. This is a guy who was a physical freak, who had a lot of potential. Stood at 6'2", 231, ran a 4.5 flat, played running back, and when he was recruited at running back, and he only had 1 or 2 years of starting experience at North Carolina. And at the time, North Carolina was pumping out wide receivers pretty consistently. Look at Hakeem Nicks. But this was a reach. It's very hard for you to find anyone who had him ranked in the second round or even the third round on their draft board. Okay. Randall Cobb was a productive player out of Kentucky. I don't know why Greg Little was the pick over Randall Cobb. I don't know if it's because because he played quarterback at Kentucky. I'm not really sure because, like I said, I don't know because Greg Little was not a polished player either at the position. I mean, if you look at it's funny because Greg Little was actually the leading receiver that year with 61 receptions. Maybe they thought Cobb was too much like Josh Cribbs, who was already there.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I don't know, but he was
better.
I don't know
than Josh Cribbs as a receiver though. But
dude, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I don't really know the regime and what they were thinking back then, so I can't really. You probably know more than me.
No, I mean, I'm trying to be as transparent, right? I defended the Phil Taylor pick over Muhammad Wilkinson. I did. I feel like I'm trying to be as even keel as possible, right? Again, I understand looking back on 10 years, it's really easy to point the finger. But again, dude, you can look at the resumes. Randall Cobb was a super productive player at Kentucky, and Greg Little was a very average player at North Carolina. I don't get it. There's no rhyme or reason. The only thing I can think of is that they thought he was too much like Josh Cribbs and they wanted a bigger body. Because like I said, Greg Little was every bit of 6'2", 230. I don't know, dude.
I don't know. Yeah, Randall Cobb's got to be a pick there. I mean, that one I give a little bit lower of a grade 2. Probably
thumbs down all the way, right?
Thumbs down, yeah. Especially when you know what you could have had. Randall Cobb. I mean, just being a Packers guy, Jordy, Randall, all those guys. I mean, he is a legend. He's in the Packers Hall of Fame. He'll never make the NFL Hall of Fame, but that's fine. He's a Packer Hall of Famer. He's one of the most consistent guys on that team and did so many different things too. Being able to do returns and then block and just route running wise and deep passes, really clutch in the playoffs. We go over the middle, go deeper. I mean, everything. So.
And like I said, I really am trying to be as honest with myself as possible when doing these rankings, when reevaluating this draft. And like I said, I'll use the Phil Taylor over Muhammad Wilkinson example again. Wilkinson came from Temple, and he didn't fit what Phil Taylor did. Therefore, I think Phil Taylor was a good pick. Jabal Shear, right? It's really easy to look at guys like Ryan Kerrigan. And who was the other defensive end that was taken in front of him that we just talked about?
Adrian Claiborne.
There was another one who had and Cameron Hayward. It's really easy to look at those guys with multiple All-Pros, Pro Bowls, and be like, well, the Browns could have had that if they would have. No, they stay the course. They got a really good defensive end, a difference-making defensive end who was there for 40 games and gave it his all and had over 5 sacks pretty much every year, other than the year he got hurt. Right, I'm trying to be as honest as possible, but you're talking about Randall Cobb, who is a productive, extremely productive player in the SEC, where he was the focal point of the Kentucky offense, to the point where he played quarterback for them. We're not talking about a guy who was hidden under the rock. We're not talking about Victor Cruz. Why didn't they take Victor Cruz? Or why didn't they take? No, dude, Randall Cobb was a known commodity. Randall Cobb was, if you look at everybody, I defy you to find me a draft board where Randall Cobb was not ahead of Greg Little. It just doesn't compute to me. Thumbs down for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thumbs down for sure.
Are you ready to move on to the next pick?
Yeah.
All right, so let me go ahead. So the next pick in the fourth round, the Cleveland Browns did not have a third-round pick at this year's draft, was Jordan. Fourth-round pick, 102nd overall, was Jordan Cameron, tight end at a USC. This is your dude, Donovan, USC guy. The 3 picks before Jordan Cameron was taken 102nd overall. KJ Wright, linebacker from Mississippi State, taken to Seattle. F99, Denoris Searcy, defensive back at North Carolina, taken by Buffalo. And then Clint Bowling, guard from Georgia, taken by Cincinnati. The 3 picks after Jordan Cameron was Sam Acho, Texas, defensive end, going to Arizona. Luke Stalker, tight end from Tennessee, that went to Tampa Bay. And then Roy Hulu, running back from Nebraska, who went to Washington. To give you a couple of tight ends that went before Jordan Cameron, Rob Hausler went to Arizona in the 3rd round, tight end out of Florida Atlantic. I'm going as quickly as I can scroll up. Lance Kendricks, tight end from Wisconsin, went to the Rams in the 2nd round. And then Kyle Rudolph, tight end from Notre Dame, went to the Minnesota Vikings in the 2nd round. A couple of tight ends that went after Jordan Cameron. We just talked about Luke Stalker going 2 picks later from Tennessee. Let's see here. And then Julius Thomas from Portland State went to Denver in the same round at pick 129. And then Carl Klug. No, geez. Woo, I'm an idiot. DJ Williams from Arkansas went to Green Bay in the 5th round. So do you want to go first on this one since it's your boy?
Yeah. I mean, Jordan. I like Jordan Cameron, man. He's a good dude to be around for sure. For a lot of USC players to talk about. He still is really close to the program. So good character guy, good on and off the field guy. But Kyle Rudolph, definitely rather have a Kyle Rudolph or even Lance Kendrick kind of. But Jordan Cameron got hurt a lot. He was just injury prone. Like, he was a really good tight end. He was underproductive at USC. They didn't really use him a lot. But because I watched now that's something I did watch all those and keep up with all the games he played. He didn't really. He was a late bloomer, kind of. He wasn't like a huge recruit for USC, but I mean, he was a good recruit. He's did special teams, did everything he needed to do to earn his spot, but he didn't. I thought he was going to be really good just because I was like, all right, he's really athletic. He's not a freak or anything like Evan Ingram or something like that, but he's athletic enough, and he can catch the ball over the middle. He's not the best blocker in the world, but he can catch the ball and he works hard. So he had an okay career. It didn't last as long as I thought it would, but I think that's because of injuries. And he, definitely had some not off the field issues, but he had some other interests off the field that he does. So, I'd probably say thumbs up. I mean, this is the 4th round. You're getting a guy like Jordan Cameron. I mean, I don't know his stats or anything by heart, but it's not a bad pick.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. He was with the Cleveland Browns from 2011 to 2014, made the Pro Bowl in 2013. He's the first player that we've talked about that's made the Pro Bowl. I know doesn't make you a Hall of Famer, but if you can get a Pro Bowl in the 4th round, hey, that's more power to you. Full transparency, I remember vividly when they drafted him, I said, why? Why did they draft a tight end who didn't even get used at USC?
Yeah, he's like a team that
uses, and USC uses the tight end. I mean, that was right in the area of Dominic Byrd, and there was, my mind's stuck right now. But there's a couple tight ends around that era that they used quite frequently, and Jordan Cameron didn't hit the meter for me. The guy that I really wanted for the Cleveland Browns at that pick was DJ Williams. Again, trying to be completely honest, DJ Williams won the Mackey at Arkansas. It was an undersized tight end. Jeff Risen we've talked about DJ Williams quite often in our chats these past years because I loved him. And he ended up not having – Jordan Cameron had a way better professional career than DJ Williams. So in my eyes, this is a thumbs up. I went through the entire class. They outsmarted me. They outsmarted a lot of people. I was looking at notes. A lot of people did not have Jordan Cameron ranked as high as this. If you go back and look at some draft grades, a lot of people thought this might be a reach. And again, I agree with that at the time. You'd be hard-pressed to find a tight end drafted after him with his level of production. The only one that would be arguable was Julius Thomas. who made it to 2 Pro Bowls. 2015, 2000, where he was 2015, 2014, 2013. He had a string of 3 years where he was very, very good. But again, Jordan Cameron had a very good 2013. He left Cleveland via free agency and signed a pretty large deal with the Miami Dolphins. And like I said, injuries took his toll. So I think it's a big thumbs up. I think he exceeded expectations.
I'll never forget him on The League, man. You ever watch that show, The League? Do you remember that show?
Oh, yeah. It was him and Cameron Jordan, right?
Yeah, because, their names. And then I never forget. He did a lot of TV stuff. He's a good-looking guy, you know. Because him and Blake Griffin are really close. Blake actually has a baby by his sister, so they're brother-in-laws.
What?
Yeah, so his sister, Bryn, played basketball at USC. She has a baby by Matt Leinart and Blake Griffin.
Whoa,
That's
a lucky lady.
I know, right? And her brother's Jordan Cameron. So
no kidding.
And this is my favorite thing about. Sorry, I just like the fun fact part of it. One of my favorite. You always name these random ass players and quarterbacks. Let me name one this time. Colby Cameron, dude, was my favorite quarterback at Louisiana. That's his brother. So.
Oh my God, I remember him.
That's his little brother. He had the highest completion percentage for a while in NCAA history.
Yeah.
And he's still one of the most efficient quarterbacks in NCAA history. He has a bunch of Louisiana Tech records, and obviously Louisiana Tech has McCown's and some really good quarterbacks. So Terry Bradshaw, I forgot about that. I was thinking McCown's. I'm sometimes my age shows, but
Tim Rattay.
Tim Rattay, for 49ers, yeah. So Colby Cameron, man, that was his little brother, Jordan's little brother. It's his little brother. So I think that was cool. Their family's pretty
athletic. No shit.
And this is another fun fact about them. Before I move on, it's a good friend of. Friend of Darius is not friend of mine. I guess a good friend of the old show he's been on before. Stuart Cravens is their cousin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
On the other side, because he's he is black. You're like
on the other side.
Well, so they he's mixed. Stuart Cravens so. No.
I did.
Yeah. Because
I meant like. It's his cousin. You said it's his cousin on the other side.
Well,
so it is by blood.
By blood, by
blood.
blood.
Okay, that's why. I didn't know because you said his sister was married to 7 former athletes, so I didn't know if he was.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Does that make sense? I didn't know if it was by marriage, just some kind of
by blood. That's part of why. I mean, Sue was always going to go to USC, but part of his recruitment was because of Jordan. kind of edging him on here to go to USC and I know Colby was like, why didn't you ever get me to go there? But they're like, we didn't want USC didn't want Colby. He was like 160 pounds, 6 foot.
Yeah, he's smaller than me. Yeah,
he's super small.
I mean, obviously he wasn't smaller than me by the time he graduated.
He won the Rice Bowl MVP 2 years in a row out in the Japanese football league.
No way! Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Colby, he won the Rice Bowl MVP.
Wow, I'm gonna look that up, dude.
Look it up.
He had a good college career.
Rice Bowl. I don't know if he's still playing anymore.
There was a part of me that thought he was gonna make it, dude. I'm gonna be completely honest. I thought that he was gonna get a shot because he's very similar to Nick Mullins. Very similar player. Yeah.
Yeah, he's similar. He just never got a shot, man. Well, I guess he got a camp shot, but he got one shot and then it just didn't. He played over in Japan, and I don't know what he's doing now, but I know. For a few years there back, he was playing in Japan. He won the Rice Bowl. MVP,
playing over there with Devin Garner. Devin Garner played over there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, Devin played there for a while.
It was very good. He was the league MVP a couple times.
Yeah, he was league MVP. Yeah, I don't think Colby won league. I think he just won the equivalent, basically, the Super Bowl MVP. The Rice Bowl.
They call it the Rice Bowl.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. My boy's like, "Is that like racist?" Like,
dude, it totally sounds racist.
Hey, they named it.
That's the key. That's the. Anybody
Bowl.
else would have named it, it would have been racist.
It would have been. Yeah, that's funny, but I know way too much about Jordan Cameron's family.
Love it, dude.
They just have a strong back. I mean, it goes back, dude. Like I was reading about it. Their father played football. Their grandfather played football. Their great grandpa played football in the AF. I mean, it goes back, dude. So
wow.
Yeah. Wow. They're just born to play, really.
Well, that was a good pick.
Their kids, man, they're gonna be
insane.
Cole Cameron's playing Cole Leinert, I guess you would say. Cole Cameron Leinert. I think probably has two last names, but he plays. He's young. Matt Leinert's, obviously USC. He already got an offer from USC, but he's only in like middle school.
Holy crap, dude!
Yeah, but I mean, he's like 6'1", man. I'm ready to see him play. I mean, it's gonna be a while. And hopefully,
I remember when offering middle schoolers was like, "Oh, Lane Kiffin's at it again." Now they're doing it all the time. Like it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens.
Yeah, a lot.
It's not insane anymore, which is so dumb. But moving on. The next fourth-round pick number 124th overall, was Owen Marisic, fullback out of Stanford.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. We talked about him on the show a couple times for some reason. The 3 picks before him went Chris Prasitsky, defensive back from Wyoming to the Jaguars, Chris Harrison, offensive tackle from Clemson to the Buffalo Bills, and Tandon Doss, wide receiver from Indiana to the Baltimore Ravens, another wide receiver that I like more than Greg Little coming out. The 3 picks after Owen Marisic were Tywan Jones, running back from Eastern Washington to the Oakland Raiders, which should surprise no one because if everybody remembers, Tywan Jones ran a blazing 4.2 at the combine so fast that when he sucked at running back, they moved him to defensive back. I think he's still in the league. I can't remember. Bilal Powell, running back from Louisville to the New York Jets, and then Rock Carmichael, defensive back from Virginia Tech to the Houston Texans. Full transparency, Owen Marisic was the Cleveland Browns from 2011 to 2012. Okay, so he did not have a very long career with Cleveland Browns. They did release him, and he did not have much of a career afterwards. Full transparency, I loved this pick. He was a great blocker. He was the lead blocker for Peyton Hillis. I thought the combo of him and Peyton Hillis, I thought that was going to last forever. I cannot stress to you how excited I was when they drafted Marisic. I was like, this is it, dude. They're going to run it hard. This is going to be the Browns' new offense. Now, in Marisic's defense, he was drafted right on the cusp of when fullbacks were not phased out yet. That year, there were a couple fullbacks taken. Okay, Henry Hynoski was taken. Matter of fact, let me go. See, it's kind of hard because there's not a whole lot of fullbacks listed. They're not listed as fullbacks.
Right.
But
yeah, he was one of my favorite fullbacks.
Yeah, and this was 10 years ago. It wasn't insane to draft a fullback. It just wasn't, and they were going in the 4th round.
There's only one or two going now, one or two real
in the entire draft.
Yeah, now, but back then, yeah, that was. And then I agree with you. Him and Peyton Hillis together, I was like, oh man, that's gonna be
I mean,
thumpers.
Stanley Havili was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 7th round. Now, great, he played running back for Hawaii, but he was a fullback. That guy weighed well over 240 pounds. Right, and I don't know if Henry Hynoski was drafted, but that was another guy that was taken. There was another guy who was in the NFL. I know Charles Clay was drafted. I'm trying to, and they probably have him labeled here as a tight end on this website. You can call him a tight end all you want. He simply was not a tight end at Tulsa. He played the H-back position, running back position, whatever you want to say, and his measurements were not that of a tight end. They were that of a fullback. That's just how they were. Yeah, let's see. Charles Clay went in the 6th round to the Miami Dolphins. I mean, like I said, you can say what you want, but Charles Clay was a fullback. That's that's probably where they should have gone. Charles Clay was very productive with the Dolphins, especially in 2014. Was renamed the top 100 player. But he wasn't. Again, that was a guy who played H-back at Tulsa. Wasn't really a true bust him up blocker. I remember Owen Marisic playing both ways at Stanford, so they thought he was going to be a key special teams player. He ended up being too slow for that. This was just a bust. I really want to give it a thumbs up because I think that maybe if the regime would have lasted and things would have went right, he probably would have had a better career. He came the year after Peyton Hillis blew up, if I remember right, and then he dealt with the Chris Ogbonnaya. And that group were the main running backs in the Cleveland Browns. So I think maybe if he had a better, Monterio Hardesty was there, if they had a better stable of running backs, I think maybe if he was there now, Andy Sanovich was there, Yeah, if
He went to
you
Tennessee,
replace,
right? Did he go
yeah,
to Tennessee? Okay.
yeah, he was riddled. He was a very good player, but he was riddled with injuries. He was riddled with injuries at the Cleveland Browns too. So the running backs that were Chris Ogbenaya, I think had more rushing yards than Monterio Hardesty. And Ogbenaya was not very good. I think if Marisic played today in place of Andy Jonovich, I think that he probably would be fairly successful. He was never going to be an all-pro level player. He was always going to be someone that was fringe roster guy. But I think he's probably better than 2 years. I think shit didn't. It didn't happen for him, and I don't know if it was all his fault. If that makes sense.
No, I'd probably give him a thumbs up. I'm being a little biased because I like fullback.
It's hard to give him a thumbs up because he got cut after 2 years.
Yeah,
but I know.
But I mean, you're looking. What was his fifth round?
Yeah,
fifth round fullback. I mean, because it's like that's why it's tough.
It was fourth.
Fourth. Okay,
round.
yeah, that makes it a little bit worse. But I mean, what do you? I mean, yeah, I don't know about thumbs up. Then maybe.
Well, when you change the regime like that,
fullback is tough, dude. Because that's not a.
They're not some. Yeah, we're right on the verge of people not using them anymore. Right on the verge, right on the cusp. You know what I mean?
And he was a thumper too. He wasn't like a
no.
He wasn't like an H-back type of guy, like a Charles Clay, like you said, or like a even Stanley Havili. Stanley Havili caught a lot of passes out of the backfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Marisic didn't do that. Marisic was a pure blocker. I think that he was a bigger bust. I probably am being a little biased because there was supposed to be special teams potential there, and there was none. He was too slow. He was simply too slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of, because remember he played both ways at Stanford.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did play. Yeah, that just didn't work out. He was a pretty good player. He was one of my. I always try to keep up with fullbacks. That's the position I played, so I have a safe place in my heart with fullbacks. And he just didn't work out. And like I said, that position kind of faded away a lot. And there's still what's the kid from Michigan, Ben Mason? I liked him a lot. There's still some good fullbacks out there. Was a one from Alabama a couple years ago that I liked, but it's just not.
Jalston Fowler?
Yeah. I liked him.
Yeah, those are the Titans for like a week.
Oh, yeah. I hate – but it's just, man, the fullbacks don't – they either have like a really long career or none at all. It's like kind of no in between. Because like –
I know.
If you might – there's only so many teams that
you have to give him a thumbs down, dude. He lasted 2 years, bro.
Yeah, it's not long enough.
It just sucks. I don't want to.
It'd be different if he was like a 7th round pick. I'd be like, okay, 2 years, that's cool, but like, no, not 4th. Because 4th round, there's still some other guys you named. Sorry about my camera moving, people, but there's still other guys that they could have had over him, and it seems like what they were trying to do was be really physical, though, with that team, getting like Little and what was the pick? You said 2nd round.
Jamal Sheard.
Yeah, Jamal Sheard. I mean, Phil Taylor, physical guy. I mean, so seems like they're trying.
They definitely emphasize size with Phil Taylor and even Jordan Cameron.
Yeah. Jordan Cameron too. Yeah, I mean, he was a West Coast kid, but he was pretty physical for tight end position, receiving tight end. But yeah, I mean,
Well, when you compare him to the people that the rest of the tight ends are on the board, like I said, you look at DJ Williams, who was 5 inches shorter. You look at Julius Thomas, who played basketball primarily. He was way more physical than those guys.
Was Rudolph? Yeah. Rudolph was after him.
No, Rudolph was way before him. Rudolph was
because I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Rudolph was like really productive.
No, Rudolph was taken second round.
37, right? I think
37th overall.
I think so.
I'm not sure. I skipped off of it.
Okay. Look it up if you want me to. Oh no, you don't have to look it up. I think he was 37.
No, Jabal Sheard was 37.
Jabal Sheard was 37. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So I don't see
Rudolph. I know was 2nd round, but he was. I thought Rudolph was going to be.
I don't see him on here.
Honestly, I thought Rudolph would be better.
Rudolph was 43rd.
43rd. Okay.
Yeah. So moving on, the Cleveland Browns had their 5th round pick, 137th overall. They took Buster Skrine, cornerback out of Chattanooga. Buster Skrine was with the Cleveland Browns from 2011 to 2014, had 37 starts overall. To give you a glimpse into that draft class and where he was taken, the 3 picks before Buster Skrine were Robert Sands, defensive back from West Virginia, Ricky Stanzi, quarterback from Iowa, was taken by Kansas City, and then Anthony Sherman. There you go, another fullback from from Connecticut, taken to the Arizona Cardinals. How could I forget Anthony Sherman? But we didn't mention him. The 3 picks after Buster Skrine were Marcus Cannon, tackle from TCU, went to the New England Patriots. Brandon Burton, cornerback from Southern Utah, that went to the Minnesota Vikings. And then Gabe Miller, linebacker from Oregon State, went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Just to kind of glance into some of the DBs that were taken ahead of him, Robert Sands was taken in the 5th round as well. David House, who we all know had a great career in Green Bay from New Mexico State, was taken in the 4th round. Cortez Allen from the Citadel was taken by Pittsburgh. Rock Carmichael was taken from Virginia Tech to the Houston Texans. Some defensive backs taken after Buster Screen. We talked about Brandon Burton from Southern Utah to Minnesota was taken literally 2 picks after. Josh Thomas from Buffalo was taken. Shiloh Keogh, who's more of a safety from Idaho, was taken by the Texans. Dejon Grimes from Nebraska. I'm trying to look for more corners. A lot of those guys played safety. Ahmad Black, that was another more of a safety. Richard Sherman was taken after him in the 5th round from Stanford. Richard Sherman had a much better career. Mark Legree, that's another safety more or less from Appalachian State. Jamel Hines, that's another safety from Ohio State. I'm trying to find cornerbacks. Cheeky Brown, that was a cornerback from Texas, taken 161st overall in the 5th round. That was a guy taken after him, but I'd say he had a better career than him. Mitchell Raymond from South Florida. Yeah, I guess that guy, he was more of a cornerback. Dude, did you just leave?
I don't know. I got kicked off.
Did you hear anything I just said?
No, I heard it all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been here. Yeah, I just
all right.
I don't know what happened. It just kind of got away from me. But Buster Skrine was who you were talking about, and
I
heard the pick. Yeah, you're kind of naming more safeties. I heard, but like.
Yeah, but you get the point.
You had one in particular, Richard Sherman. I mean, he's like Hall of Famer. So I mean,
do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Richard Sherman's gonna be in the Hall. It'll take him a little. I think it'll take him a little. He's not first ballot or anything. It'll take him a little while to get in, but he should be in the Hall of Fame. Sure, because like
there's a lot of corners that were.
When I remember corners from like that era, I feel like Sherman's gonna be one. I mean. Ty Law's a different era, I guess. He's a little bit before, but
the big knock on Sherman is always going to be that he didn't follow anybody, right? You got Revis Island, right? You know, you got Frank Minifield and Hanford Dixon aren't in the Hall of Fame yet either, and
Frank Minifield's not. I'm sorry. I think so. I mean, Revis is going to get in.
He should.
Ty Law's gonna be in.
Charles Woodson was locked down, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Those were guys that followed everybody.
Sherman's got a ring too. Like Legion of Boom. He was.
If he gets in, he's gonna get in like Wes Welker, where it's like, yeah, all right. It's more because of the aura around him rather than.
You don't think Sherman's one of the best corners like of all time?
I didn't say that. Of all time, no, he's not one of the best cornerbacks of all time. No,
he's not top 20 corner
of all time.
Top 25?
No.
Really?
No, not to me. No, dude. So. I mean, you go back in the
Legion of Boom Sherman, though. I mean,
he didn't follow the receiver. My ideal cornerback follow. You know, you think about all the great cornerbacks in NFL history. Like Lester Hayes from the Raiders would follow people around, push them. You know, going to those old highlights where they're going to motion and fighting. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to. Dude, my mind is you put me on the spot, right? But I mean, there's just.
Well, I gave you 25. You said the 25 corner is better than Richard Sherman.
Man, I feel like if you gave me a day,
time,
I feel like I could name 20. There's just so many.
He's on the all-decade team, man.
Yeah, but
that's tough, dude. I mean, that's hard because you got guys like Cortland Finnegan. He followed guys. He was good, but he wasn't as good as Sherman to me. But he did different things.
You're right. Cortland Finnegan was not as good as Sherman.
Charles Woodson. That's Charles Woodson.
That's all I'm saying. Like Charles Woodson, Darrelle Revis are on different levels.
Jalen Ramsey to me is on like a different level.
Yes, there you go. No. See, but and Richard Sherman may be a better. Jalen Ramsey. It's hard to say that. Jalen Ramsey has the physical ability to be one of the best cornerbacks in NFL history. Will he finish it out that way? I don't know because he's kind of a dickhead. We'll see what he does. Yada yada yada. But Charles Woodson, Darrelle Revis. Well, those guys, dude, you just weren't throwing. I mean, come on, the guy. You just weren't throwing to him. You just weren't. You designed a whole game plan to stay away from him. You know what I mean? Richard Sherman gets beat by speed too. Richard Sherman's always gotten beat by speed.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Not me, and he's a very smart player.
Honestly,
he knows how to play it, yada yada yada.
he
But
gets a bad rep for that Tyreek Hill play, but I'm like, dude, it's Tyreek Hill, bro.
yeah, and he's always been like that. Now it's rare because he's a really smart player too. Like he kind of knows how to counterbalance it. Yeah, he's a very intelligent player. He's the Tom Brady of cornerbacks, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. He just
okay.
Be on my list.
That's fair.
Is he better than Buster Screen though? Yes.
Yeah. Definitely better than him, and because you named some other guys too that were good, but Sherman is at least a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be on the ballot.
I don't.
Buster Screen
the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is such a weird discussion because some people don't. Some people get in.
A lot of media doesn't like, but
who they are.
Well, a lot of media don't like Richard Sherman though, so that's not helping him out.
Are you sure?
He's split. A lot of people media love him. A lot of media hate him because people said Richard Sherman was a dickhead.
I think that's going to help Richard Sherman. I think that's going to because guys that are out in the media, they're out there. You know what I mean?
I just remember he was very outspoken during when he was in Seattle. Maybe not much with the 49ers. He kind of was just kind of chill, but the whole thing was Skip Bayless, ESPN stuff. I'm better than you at life. That was awesome, by the way, because I hate Skip Bayless. But
I think Richard Sherman's he's going to be very, very active and very. He's not going to go away. I think once he retires, he's going to be on TV a lot, and I think that helps people with their whole
that'll help him out for sure. Charles Woodson, like I said, that's Charles Woodson. He would have been in it either way, but
Charles Woodson's a god.
He's not Charles. I love Charles Woodson, but he's not the greatest on TV. He's not.
He's terrible. He's terrible. That's because he's not.
He's not terrible.
Guys, but it's not his fault. The reason guys like him aren't good, it's because he was so athletically gifted that it's almost like he struggles to explain why things aren't working and why they are working. You know what I mean? It's like he was so good that it's almost like sometimes he's just saying in a roundabout way, the guy's not fast enough. He's not, it's like he needs to be better. It's like, what? Charles, come on, man. He's not you. You know what I mean? Richard Sherman's not. I don't think Richard. That's why you see a lot of those guys that are really good.
Yeah, Richard got drafted in the freaking first round. So he.
Yeah,
I think
fast.
I think
he's had to deal with some issues.
Yeah, I think that helps out Richard's case a little bit because we love a good story like you were saying, Wes Welker or whatever, or Julian Edelman, whoever it is, a guy.
That's why I'm sorry. I said Wes Welker earlier.
I knew. Yeah, I figured you meant Julian Edelman. Yeah. Somebody like Charles Woodson, again, bad example, but I'll use him just because he won the Heisman. He was a first-round pick. He's supposed to be that good.
Yeah.
But Richard Sherman's a dominant, one of the best diamonds in the rough that they found. Pete, always saw him up close and personal at Stanford. And it's funny, you named a lot of Stanford players because this was when they had Jim Harbaugh still, I think. So yeah, they were. Owen Marisick, and you named a couple other guys here and there. So. This is before Andrew Luck. I don't want to get into Stanford conversations. This is the Browns wire, but I'm trying to think of their quarterback. USC had to play Stanford all the time. They had a Polynesian quarterback. I thought they had a guy right before him though. It was a Polynesian small guy.
Yeah, because I think Andrew Luck was drafted in 2012.
Tavita Pritchard was the quarterback too, but I guess that was way before. That was 09, 010. But yeah, you're right. It was Luck because Luck was a 3-year starter.
Yeah. It was Luck, yeah.
Yeah, because Tavita Pritchard was right before. I'm going back. I've had a lot of heartbreak with Stanford being a USC fan. They've always kind of been the thorn in our side. But yeah, Buster Screen was not good. That's a thumbs down all the way.
Yeah. So here. So you're giving thumbs down. So here's this. So at the time, I thought it was a reach. Now, again, I was in college at the time, and we were playing teams that were Chattanooga size, and it was like, what, dude? Come on now. Which is funny because Brandon Burton, if you remember, had a very. He was. I think he. I'm trying to pull him up. So I kept saying Southern Utah, but he went to Utah. He played in the Pac-12 and was all Pac-12. That was the guy I wanted the Browns to draft. Who in his career wasn't any good either. He was out of the league relatively quickly. So and if you look at the guys that were drafted after Buster Screen, we talked about Richard Sherman, but you'd be hard pressed to find people that had Richard Sherman ahead of Buster Skrine. I mean, if we're really being real, Richard Sherman, one of the reasons why he got drafted where he did was because of Pete Carroll knowing him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So after evaluating who was left, it was still a reach. There were guys that I think had more physical ability than Buster Skrine. Buster Skrine was a very small player. You know, he didn't have a whole lot of length. I know he was faster than shit, ran a 4.3 at the combine. I think that's why they took him. It's a bad pick. I give it a thumbs down too. But I also want to give credence to the fact that I don't know if, like I said, Richard Sherman was a diamond in the rough. It wasn't like we talked about Randall Cobb being. Everybody in the world had Randall Cobb ahead of Greg Little. If we're being honest with ourselves, not everybody in the world had Richard Sherman better than Buster Skrine. They just flat out didn't. Let's be honest. If we're being honest, it was not an obvious choice. They reached for Buster Skrine. There were guys you can look. There are guys that are ranked higher than Buster Skrine all over draft boards across the history, but most of those guys didn't do much either, man. So I give it a thumbs down too, but they probably should have They probably should have swerved away from corner.
Could have been like in the middle.
Yeah. No, I mean it's definitely a thumbs down. The only reason he played was because he was
fast.
Yeah, and they sucked. You know what I mean? Like he would be barely hanging on this year's Browns team on a roster spot.
Yeah,
I know he's got 37 starts, and that's pretty impressive, and that's great for a fifth rounder. Yeah. But if we're looking realistically, he probably got those 37 starts because the Browns just flat out suck.
This bad. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Jesus,
you know what I mean?
I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
No, you're good. Are you ready to move on to the next pick?
Yeah.
So, in the fifth round with the 150th pick overall, the Cleveland Browns select Jason Pinkston, offensive tackle from Pittsburgh. Now, the three picks taken in front. Let me tell you the three picks taken before Pinkston, 3 picks after. The 3 picks before Pinkston: Rod Isaac, defensive back out of Middle Tennessee State, went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Denarius Moore, wide receiver from Tennessee, went to the Oakland Raiders, and Dion Lewis, running back from Pittsburgh, went to the Philadelphia Eagles. The 3 picks after Jason Pinkston was Ahmad Black, defensive back from Florida, went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. T.J. Yates, quarterback from North Carolina, went to the Houston Texans. And Jeremy Curley, wide receiver from TCU, went to the New York Jets. Now, Jason Pinkston was with the Cleveland Browns from 2011 to 2013. He started 24 games in his Cleveland Browns career. I give this 100% thumbs up. Okay, this was an absolute steal. Okay, at the time, this was a guy who was all ACC, super productive. If you look at the tackles that were drafted ahead of him, Marcus Cannon, far better career. But again, he was gone. He was off the board. He's off the board. Chris Harrison from Clemson, who went to the Buffalo Bills, he didn't have a great career. And James Brewer from Indiana, who went to the New York Giants, again, not a guy who had an outstanding career. The offensive tackles after Pinkston were Byron Stingley from Louisville to the Tennessee Titans in the 6th round. Let's see here. I'm scrolling. Zachary Williams from Washington State to the Carolina Panthers. Johnny Colbreth from South Carolina State to the Detroit Lions. Me neither. Andrew Jackson from Fresno State to the Atlanta Falcons. Derek Newton from Arkansas State to the Houston Texans. Now, that's a guy who was in the league for a bit.
I heard of him.
Yeah, let's see here.
And I remember Andrew. I remember Andrew Jackson too. But he was.
Yeah, I remember coming out of Fresno State. I don't remember his career at all. And then Lee Ziemba from Auburn went to the Carolina Panthers, who I remember at Auburn, but I don't remember his NFL career. So I give it a Lee Ziemba.
Oh, Lee Ziemba. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. I give it a thumbs up, dude. Jason Pinkston was good. He was good. He started every game as a rookie, okay, and then they found a blood clot in his lung, and that he was forced to retire. He was out of the NFL in 3 years due to an injury settlement because of a blood clot in his lung. That dude started every game as a rookie. It was very, very solid. Very, very solid. And this was a guy who was extremely productive at Pittsburgh. I believe he was a multiple all-ACC player. This was a good pick. It should be named a good pick. It's just a damn shame that he had that blood clot. That's what it comes down to, dude. He was better than a lot of the tackles that were taken in front of him.
Yeah, he was. The ones you named, I mean, Marcus Cannon was the only one that I was like,
Who also, who was taken ahead of him. They didn't have a shot at him.
yeah, they didn't have a shot at him anyway. And then we're not talking about the other players. There are some good guys. I mean, there's some guys I like coming out of college a lot more than they were better players. Like TJ Yates, he really didn't have that great a career. I did like him coming out of UNC. I thought he was going to be pretty good, but he's not better than Colt McCoy, so you're not upgrading there. No. You named a running back. That's Deion Lewis, if I'm not mistaken.
Who was gone before Pinkston?
He was gone before, and plus you already had a running back there, starting and everything. You just Hardesty, right?
But Pinkston was the dude. Again, the Browns moved him to guard. He played offensive tackle Pittsburgh. The Browns did move him to guard. Dude, he was a good player. It
can't help blood clots. I mean, you don't.
Dude, he started every game as a rookie and played poorly.
Was that something was it like a Trey Smith situation where they knew about it first, or was it
I think it came out of nowhere.
Okay, because I was wondering. That would be a good Google.
That would be a good Google that I did not do. I know for a fact Marcus Cannon had health issues before the draft because I gave him a first-round grade that year because I remember watching him at TCU and he was absolutely disgusting. And he had cancer or whatever. I can't remember. He had a similar situation to Sean Coleman at Auburn. He had some kind of issue where they're like, I don't know if he's going to play. And he just nailed it. Yeah, is it Sean?
I don't know. I thought it was Sean. It's Sean. It's SHON, so I always called him Sean.
Dude, I have no. Sometimes I butcher those names like I like Derek.
The Brickenshaw Ferguson.
Yeah, like Derek King. I thought it was. I've been saying Derek forever, and then someone was like, "Dude, it's Derek. It's just Derek."
It was probably Eric Robinson that told us that. But
was it?
I don't know. Eric's really good with like those type of names. He's also he's Miami, so I just feel.
I just remember someone telling me feeling really bad about it. Like, oh, dude, I've been butchering his goddamn name, and it's so simple. It's literally Derek. You know what I mean? So I sometimes just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Jason Pinkston goes, I mean, you gotta give him. But I almost said Todd Pinkston. Jesus, that's a different story. But no, you got to give him a thumbs up.
Yeah, dude.
Plus, like you said, this guy could still be playing in the NFL possibly if he didn't have. I mean, I know personally someone that had a blood clot in their lung. That's just there's nothing you can do. I mean, my buddy that had blood clot in his lung was a security guard dude at a bar, and he couldn't do his job. So you can't play football. You know what I mean? That's something you got to get taken care of, and then you're not going to be able to have full contact really probably ever. I mean, you might have a shot here and there, like Trey Smith. That's why I mentioned him because that's the guy I had a top 50 grade on Trey Smith this year, and he dropped all the way to pretty much where he was. Did he not get drafted at all? Or did he get drafted late?
No, he got drafted.
He got drafted, but it was late though. It was really late, I think. And
he fell to the 6th round.
So who got him?
Tennessee Titans, and that's a guy with second-round talent all day long.
Yeah,
maybe some would say even first-round talent.
I thought he was the second, but yeah, I mean, some of that was just pure talent. I knew.
Yeah,
when you have that many, he has more than one medical injury, medical concern too, so it was tough. But it kind of reminds me of that. I wasn't really around, like I said, when Pinkston was drafted, but it sounds like somebody that could, just got their career cut short, sadly, because of medical concern. But it's glad that he took care of that and they found it early, so he wasn't able to still be alive because that's a serious, anytime you hear blood clot, it's just something serious. So, but yeah, I give that a thumbs up. That might be near one of their best draft picks.
Could have been.
Yeah. Which is kind of again Browns.
Go on. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say just Browns. It kind of you find a diamond in the rough from that class, and that's guy that didn't make it sadly. But it is what it is. You know.
It would be a good Google to figure out if he had those issues before the draft. I don't remember that, but maybe he did, and I just wasn't aware. I remember the Marcus Cannon stuff being a big deal. We'll go ahead. We'll name off the last pick, and then we'll go ahead and finish this podcast up. We hit over an hour. The 7th round pick, the last pick, 248th pick overall. The Cleveland Browns select Eric Haig, safety from Nebraska. He was with the Browns from 2011 to 2012. Another guy whose career was cut short due to injuries. The 3 picks ahead of Eric Haig were Michael Jasper, defensive tackle to the Buffalo Bills, Jay Finley, running back from Baylor to the Cincinnati Bengals, and Jeremy Beal, defensive lineman from Oklahoma to the Denver Broncos. The 3 picks after him were DeMarco Sampson, wide receiver from San Diego State to the Arizona Cardinals, Curtis Holcomb, defensive back from Florida A&M to the San Francisco 49ers, and then Tommy Campbell, defensive back from Pittsburgh to the Tennessee Titans. Other safeties that were drafted ahead of Haig include Jimmy Wilson from Montana, who was drafted the same way, Jonathan Nelson from Oklahoma, and then we're looking at Anthony Gator from Florida International to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So defensive backs drafted after Haig. We were talking about Curtis Holcomb from Florida A&M, Tommy Campbell from Pittsburgh, and that was the end of the draft. He's one of the last picks. So what are your thoughts on Haig?
I don't know much about him, not gonna lie. You have to defer to you, man. I mean, this is a late pick, though. This is the last pick they had, so I always say you're looking for somebody that can come in and play for you. You're not really looking for many stars. If you get that, you're lucky. That's all I can really say about the 7th, 6th round guys. But this is a guy I don't really know too much about. But I mean, didn't seem like it worked out. I mean, really. But...
he got injured.
He got injured. You said.
Yeah, but so I remember at the time thinking it was a good pick. This was back before Nebraska was in the Big 10. They were in the Big 12 at the time. He was all Big 12. I'm trying to Google it to verify that, but he was first team all Big 12 and was a Nebraska team MVP in 2010. This was a guy who was all over the field in Nebraska. I thought it was a steal at the time. I thought he was a very good player. I thought he, at the very least, he was going to play special teams, and he did. He saw time in 10 games as a rookie. I think that he was going to be in the game. He was going to have a chance to see some significant time, but he dealt a number of injuries and ended up retiring from the NFL after being released by the Cleveland Browns. So it's another guy whose career was cut short by injuries. Again, I don't think he would have been a Pro Bowler or anything, but this is probably somebody who probably could have hung around for 5 or 6 years, kind of like you see with Terrence Mitchell or I can't remember the safety from Miami that the Browns drafted relatively in the 5th or 6th round. Somebody like that could have competed with special teams if not for injuries. But I thought it was a good pick. I give it a thumbs up because, like I said, he did play 10 games as a rookie. I think it's a 7th round pick. A lot of teams, a lot of those names I just said didn't even make it out of training camp. So I'll give it a thumbs up.
Okay, well, Josh gives this thumbs up and cosign. I got to go with you on that one because that's.
There's there's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the 7th pick, the 7th to last pick, and he played 10 games as a rookie. What do you want, right?
Exactly. The Browns played everybody. Damn, they played all these guys.
Yeah, overall, I don't think it was a bad draft.
I don't know, man. Kind of a little bit. It was a big draft. A little bit. It wasn't horrible.
We gave 5 thumbs up and then 1, 2, 3 thumbs down.
They just didn't have anyone from this team that was. I guess this draft wasn't that good either, though. So, well, no, it was pretty good at the top. It was pretty top heavy draft, but I guess it was an average draft.
If they would have taken,
because the Browns were. Excuse me. What were they picking? Like what was their record that year? Do you know?
112.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's average draft because they got to do a little bit better than that. Like,
you mean the year before?
Yeah, the year before.
Because they had the 21st pick because they kept trading back.
Okay, because I'm just trying to think like why are they picking? I know they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, they kept trading back. I think that if they would have taken Randall Cobb over Greg Little, this would have been a great draft.
Yeah, I can see
so
that.
You're one guy away from making this a very inarguably it would have been a good draft. Thumbs up overall, right?
True. Yes.
So I think it was an okay draft.
Or yeah, I would say Randall Cobb. I mean, I'm still kind of like
it. That's the
I really did
like
Muhammad Wilkerson, but I mean, like you said, it was kind of.
He's just a different kind of player. It's hard to say if that was.
Excuse me. Yeah. God, I'm dying, dude. Dying.
I was sneezing too, but I was smart enough to mute it.
I couldn't get to it in time, dog. Sorry.
No, I'm just being a dick.
Sorry to the people that had to hear me cough and sneeze, but yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get to the softball game, dude.
The Jarvis Landry softball game? Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
I've never seen so many people talk about a softball game in my life. This is what it feels like to be part of Brown's Twitter, doesn't it?
Dude, I wasn't on Twitter at all today. My phone didn't work. My phone was dead.
Even yesterday, dog, when the game was happening, like I know people that went. Like Molly went.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her and this other girl I know that lives in Cleveland went. I saw Mac tweeting about it too.
Mac would. Mac's all about that.
He is. No, Mac's cool, but yeah. I mean, if we talk about that, we probably won't ever talk about it, but whatever. It's on Twitter. You just type in, "Hey, Baker Mayfield's got a nice swing." That's all I'll say. Saw his swing. Good swing. Really, really good swing.
Well, this was fun though. I want to do more throwback stuff like this. I texted Bill like 10 minutes before the podcast to try to get him on. But
I thought it was somebody was coming, Justin or.
Well,
Jared.
I messaged our boss Jared too.
Yeah.
That's but again, we came up with it like 10 minutes prior, so it's
we're kings of last minute here.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. We'll try to be more prepped. We'll try to be more prepped moving forward. It's been a rough going for it on my end, so I apologize. That's a lot of that's my fault.
Oh man, same here, dude. I just have a lot more free time right now because of some tragic reason. Not tragic, but sad.
Tragic.
Tragic is a strong word, but unfortunate reasons.
Well, we'll go ahead and shut this down because someone's screaming outside my door. I can't tell if it's my cat or the girlfriend. But this was the Browns Wire podcast. Make sure you give us a like, listen, review on all anywhere, iTunes, whatever that helps us. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe, please. If you want us to talk about any certain topics, let us know. We'll say your name, give you a shout out on the pod. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Keatley16. My DMs are always open. Donovan, where can they hit you up at?
DMs are always open too. My Twitter name is at Don James Sports. Name remains the same. I got some stuff coming up, but we'll see what happens, man. I ain't making any promises or anything, but I got some stuff. I don't know, man. We'll see. I know the Ryan Sosa interview. Like, I couldn't do it this week because I just had some stuff come up, but he'll be on some point this month. I don't really know when, dog. Whenever. Dude. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of college football from last season, so I'm getting very close to wanting to pound out some draft pieces, to talk to you about the upcoming draft. So we'll have to look into that. But again, this is the Browns Wire podcast, and we are out.